Okay, today we're going to cover 6.1, solve one-step addition and subtraction equations. So here's our vocabulary. We have solution, equivalent equation, subtraction property of equality, and addition property of equality. So go ahead and pause this and take a moment to copy those down, please. Okay, so the subtraction property of equality is if you subtract the same number from both sides of your equation, then your equation is still true. So let me give an example of that. If I have 8 is equal to 8, and I subtract 5 from both sides of my equation, 8 minus 5 is 3. Does 3 equal 3? Yes, it does. But if I just subtract 5 from one side of the equation and not from the other, then I'm left with 3 equals 8, and that's not true. Okay? So whatever you do to one side of your equal sign or your equation, you have to do the exact same thing to the other side. That way it keeps it equal. And it keeps it a true statement. So copy this down. X plus 6 is equal to 4. So what we need to do when we have these is we're trying to get our variable or our letter by itself. In order to do that, so I look at my equal sign, here's my equal sign, I have to get everything that is on the same side of the equal sign as my letter needs to go away. So here's my letter, this is everything that's on the same side, so I have a plus 6 right here. I want to cancel this out, so what's the opposite of addition? It's subtraction. So instead of putting plus 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides of my equation. So I'll bring my x down. 6 minus 6 is 0. I'm just going to cancel that out. That's gone. I'm not going to put 0 down here. So I'm going to bring down my equal sign. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So I'm left with x is equal to negative 2. I can check this by plugging it back into my original equation. So if I plug in negative 2 for x, then I have negative 2 plus 6 is equal to 4. And that is a true statement. Negative 2 plus 6. You have a positive and a negative, so you subtract your absolute values, and you're left with 4 is equal to 4, which is true. Copy this down. Negative 5 is equal to b plus 8. So we want to get our variable. Here's our variable, our letter. We want to get it by itself. So I look to see, okay, here's my equal sign. What's on the same side of my equal sign? I have an 8. It's a positive 8. So plus 8, the opposite of that is minus 8. So I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. So those 8's cancel out. I bring down my b is equal to negative 5 minus 8. So if I'm looking on a number line, here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5, minus 8. When I subtract, I go to the left. So it's going to go even further in the negatives. So it's going to be negative 13. So negative 13 equals b. That is the same thing as b is equal to negative 13. You can swap those around if you need to. The biggest thing that I'm looking for is 1, I need to see your original expression. 2, I need to see what are you doing to that expression. Okay, are you adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Okay, right now we're starting with subtracting. And 3, what is your answer? So I need to see all 3 parts as we work these out. 14 plus y is equal to 20. Go ahead and copy that down. So we have a positive 14. So here's our y. So we have 14 plus y. So we want to get rid of this 14. I want that to 14 minus what equals 0. We minus 14. So I subtract 14 from both sides because I want to be able to cancel that out. I want it gone. So I bring down my y is equal to 20 minus 14 is 6. So I have my first part, my original portion, my original equation, what I'm doing to that equation, 2, and 3, my final answer. So that's what I'm looking for. Okay, go ahead and pause this for a moment and take some time to figure out what these equal. So you're going to use one-step equations to solve these. Okay, so let's go over these. So we have y plus 6 is equal to 9. We're going to subtract 6 from both sides. So we have y is equal to 9 minus 6 is 3. For b, we have x plus 3 is equal to 1. We are going to subtract 3 from both sides. So we're left with x is equal to negative 2. And c, we have negative 3 is equal to a plus 4. We subtract 4 from both sides. We're going to bring down my equal sign in my a. So negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7. So negative 7 is equal to a. Okay. So go ahead and check your answers. Okay, copy this down. An angelfish can grow to be 12 inches long. If an angelfish is 8.5 inches longer than a clownfish, how long is a clownfish? So take a moment to copy this down and pause this if you need extra time. Okay, so they want to know how long the clownfish is. An angelfish is 8.5 inches longer than a clownfish. So I'm going to use C to represent the length of a clownfish. I don't know. But an angelfish is 8.5 inches longer than that. So if I take the length of a clownfish plus 8.5 inches, that'll give me the length of an angelfish, which can grow up to be 12 inches. So there's my expression. Now I'm going to subtract this minus 8.5 from both sides, and that's how you word it. Say minus 8.5 from both sides. Okay, so I bring down c is equal to, because that cancels out 8.5 minus 8.5, 0. Don't write your 0 down here. It's equal to 12 minus 8.5. Okay. You could work this out by hand, or if you have a calculator, we're using our calculators on this portion. So if I plug it into my calculator, I know that's 3.5. 3.5 what? Talking about inches. So the clownfish is 3.5 inches. A grapefruit weighs 11 ounces, which is 6 ounces more than an apple. Write and solve an equation to find the weight of the apple. Go ahead and take a moment to copy this down. Okay, so we're trying to find the weight of the apple. So I'm going to use A for apple. The grapefruit weighs 11 ounces, which is 6 ounces more than an apple. So if I take the weight of an apple plus 6, it's going to give me the weight of a grapefruit, which is 11. So to solve this, I subtract 6 from both sides. So I have A is equal to 11 minus 6 is 5. 5 what? The apple weighs 5 what? Ounces. And the abbreviation for ounces is OZ. You can write out ounces if you want to. I just want to make you aware of what the abbreviation is. So we're practicing putting our word problems into an expression, writing an expression, and then solving it. Remember, I still have all 3 parts. I have my original expression that I came up with. I showed you what I was subtracting from both sides, and I had my answer. You need to make sure you have all 3 parts, please. Okay, go ahead and copy this down and take a moment to solve it, please. The highest recorded temperature in Warsaw, Missouri is 118 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 158 degrees greater than the lowest recorded temperature. Find the lowest recorded temperature. So take just a moment to work this out. Copy it down and work this out. Okay, so they want to know what the lowest recorded temperature is. So the highest temperature is 118 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 158 degrees greater than the lowest recorded temperature. So I'm going to take my lowest temperature, which I'm just going to use L, plus 158 will give us my highest temperature. Make sure you read these very carefully because you don't put the largest number, it doesn't automatically go on the far right. You need to make sure that you're reading it. So it's 158 degrees greater than the lowest temperature. So the lowest temperature plus 158 will give us our highest temperature. So looking at this, what can we kind of guess about what our lowest temperature is going to be? Well, since 158 is larger than 118, that means that our lowest temperature has to be a negative number. So I'll subtract 158 from both sides. If you have a calculator, please plug it into your calculator. So my lowest temperature is 118 minus 158, which is going to give me negative 40. Negative 40 what? Degrees Fahrenheit. So there's my final answer. Again, I have all three parts. My expression, what I'm doing to both sides, and my final answer. Now we're going to work on the addition property of equality. So the subtraction property of equality is if you subtract the same number from both sides of the equation, your equation's still true. The addition property of equality is if you add the same number to both sides of your equation is still true. So it's the same thing as the subtraction one, except now with addition. So copy this down. X minus 2 is equal to 1. Okay, so I'm going to copy this down here. X minus 2 is equal to 1. So here's my variable. I want to get rid of the number that's on the same side. So this time I have a minus 2. So the opposite of minus 2, the opposite of subtraction, is addition. So I'm going to add 2 this time. You're looking for opposites. So I'll bring down my x. Those 2's cancel out. I have 1 plus 2, which is 3. So x is equal to 3. If I plugged that back in to my equation, I would have 3 minus 2 equals 1. Is that true? Yes, it is. So that means that we did that correctly. It's a good way to double check your work to make sure that you're doing this correctly. If you plug in your number and you don't get this to work out, then you've done something wrong. Okay, copy this one down. 12 is equal to z minus 8. Okay, so 12 is equal to z minus 8. So I have my variable here, so I want to get rid of my minus 8. The opposite of subtraction's addition. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So those 8's cancel out. I'll bring down my equal sign and my z. 12 plus 8 is 20. So 20 is equal to z. And remember, z is equal to 20 is the exact same thing. That's okay. The biggest thing I'm looking for is I want to see your original problem, what you're doing to it, and your final answer. You can write it either way for your final answer. Okay, so go ahead and pause this and take a moment to try these 3 problems. If you need more time, feel free to pause this and take some more time. So we have y minus 3 is equal to 4. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Remember, that's how we word it. Before it was subtract from both sides. Now we're going to specify what we're adding to both sides. So add 3 to both sides. So I have y is equal to 7. For F, we have R minus 4 is equal to negative 2. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So R is equal to, I have negative 2 plus 4. That is positive 2. If you are still struggling with negative numbers, use your calculator. Okay? If you don't know how to plug in negative numbers in your calculator, please come talk to me and I can help you with that. Okay, but it's really important. This will kind of help catch any negative mistakes that you may be making if you use your calculator. So Q minus 8 is equal to negative 9. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So Q is equal to negative 9 plus 8. It's going to be negative 1. Okay, so double check your answers, please. Okay. If you show all 3 steps, you'll be less likely to make a mistake. So that's why I want you to show all 3 steps. Okay, our next example. A pair of shoes costs $25. This is $14 less than the cost of a pair of jeans. Find the cost of the jeans. So take a moment to copy this down, please. So we're trying to find the cost of the jeans. So a pair of shoes costs $25. That's $14 less than the cost of a pair of jeans. So less tells me that we're going to be subtracting. Less than the cost of the pair of jeans. So I'm going to take the cost of the jeans. I'm going to put J because I don't know what it is. Minus $14 is going to give me the cost of the shoes, which is $25. So there's my expression. So there's the first part. Now I need to solve this. I want to get J by itself, so I want to get rid of my minus 14. The opposite of minus 14 is plus 14. So those 14s cancel out, so I'm left with J is equal to 25 plus 14 is 39. I'm talking about money, so I'm going to put the dollar sign in front. Be careful, I know we say $39, and so some people think the dollar sign goes in the back. It does not. It goes in front of the number. So be careful to make sure that you're not making that mistake. Okay, so our jeans are going to cost $39. Okay, copy this down and try this one on your own. The average lifespan of a tiger is 17 years. This is 3 years less than the average lifespan of a lion. Write and solve an equation to find the average lifespan of a lion. So go ahead and pause this and take a moment to solve it, please. Okay, if you need more time, then go ahead and pause this again. So the average lifespan of a tiger is 17 years. This is 3 years less than the average lifespan of a lion. Write and solve an equation to find the average lifespan of a lion. So I'm going to use L to represent the lion. Okay. It's 3 years less, so I'm going to use subtraction, than the average lifespan of a lion. So the lifespan of a lion minus 3 will give me the lifespan of a tiger, which is 17 years. How do I solve this? So I have L minus 3 is equal to 17. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So I'm going to get L is equal to 17 plus 3 is 20. 20 what? 20 years. So the average lifespan of a lion is 20 years. So that's it for this lesson. Please let me know if you have any questions.